In a recent announcement, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife has given the green light for coastal razor clam digging, set to commence on September 29th and extend for 36 days. The much anticipated first date for razor clam digging is scheduled for Friday, September 29th, with low tide at 7:18 p.m. This thrilling opportunity will be available at various locations along the Washington coast, including Long Beach, Twin Harbors, and Mock Rock Beach.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
For me, as a Washington State resident for the past 3 years, razor clamming has been a cherished seasonal tradition. The joy of digging for these delectable creatures along the shoreline is matched only by the pleasure of bringing them home to cook and savor. Trust me when I say they are absolutely delicious.
Clams you bake, clams you fry.
However, in the midst of this excitement, there's a looming concern. On September 16, 2023, a group of approximately 30 concerned individuals gathered at 99th and 320th Street in Federal Way to raise their voices against a pressing issue. Their protest was fueled by the alarming news that the Japanese government initiated the discharge of radioactive wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean on August 24th. The Pacific Ocean is where I found solace in razor clamming, and it's also home to the salmon that are currently making their way upriver. The question that begs to be answered is what consequences this discharge will bring to our beloved coastal environment. To understand the gravity of the situation, we must go back to the catastrophic earthquake and tsunami that struck Japan on March 11, 2011.
When Japan was devastated by a massive earthquake and tsunami in 2011, thousands dead, hundreds of thousands of buildings damaged or destroyed, the fallout from its ruptured nuclear power plant was one of the top concerns.
Today, Japan officially recognized the severity of the threat posed by the leaking Fukushima reactors by upgrading it to a Category 5 incident. That's on par with the 3 Mile Island nuclear disaster and 2 notches below the worst ever at Chernobyl.
This natural disaster severely damaged the Fukushima nuclear power plant, leading to the entry of seawater and the failure of cooling systems. This catastrophic chain of events ultimately resulted in the explosion of reactors 1, 3, and 4. To prevent further nuclear explosions, the Japanese government embarked on a decade-long mission of storing used water in colossal tanks. Regrettably, this hazardous journey reached to the turning point when they began discharging the radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean last August. Although the Japanese government asserts that the water is treated and safe for release, opinions among experts remain divided.
So here's the thing. Ultimately, this plan has a giant question mark around it.
To pretend that, well, this is just radionuclides, it is irresponsible, because this is radionuclides on top of climate change, on top of global warming, on top of ocean acidification, on top of pollution, on top of plastics.
And that's important because, while you can rarely point to any one thing as being so cataclysmically problematic for humanity, it is kind of the sum total of our shenanigans where the real damage is done, right?
There are real problems in the Pacific, as we all know, climate change, plastic pollution, overfishing. These are real issues, and I think this is a bit of a distraction, really.
So the bottom line is this. The exact risk of this kind of long-term, low-dose exposure to tritium is unknown. And in terms of global problems, maybe this isn't the biggest one, but the stakes are high, regardless. We don't have that many oceans on this planet, and once the damage is done, it's very hard to undo.
The crux of the issue lies in the fact that this discharge is slated to continue for over 50 years.
Stop! Dumping! Nuclear wastewater! Stop!
Given the unprecedented nature of this endeavor, No one can definitively predict the long-term impacts it may have on our coastal ecosystem. According to simulations conducted in Germany, this radioactive water is expected to reach Washington state within an year, carried by the current across the Pacific Ocean. This has raised significant concerns about the potential repercussions on our beloved pastimes, such as clam digging and salmon fishing. While New York State has passed the Save the Hudson bill aimed at preventing the dumping of radioactive waste,
a plan to discharge wastewater from Indian Point into the Hudson River is now on hold after Governor Hochul signed a bill to safeguard the river. The Save the Hudson bill restricts discharges of any radiological substance into the Hudson. The former nuclear power plant is being dismantled, and there's 1 million gallons of wastewater on the site that contains traces of radioactive material. Holtec, the company that's working to dismantle Indian Point, says it is disappointed the governor signed the bill.
it is essential to note that Japan's treated water originated from a nuclear accident, a situation potentially more perilous than typical radioactive waste. To address these concerns, it is crucial that the Department of Health provides comprehensive numerical information about radioactive in seawater. I hope that the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife continues to offer insights on marine leisure activities, taking into account any development related to radioactive contamination in seawater. My ultimate wish is to maintain an environment where Washington residents can safely revel in marine leisure activities such as sea fishing, clam digging, and salmon fishing for generations to come. Thanks for watching this video.